Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a little something different for you today. I'm actually inside working on a construction home improvement DIY project. It's actually my daughter's hanging jungle bed. I'll walk through it first and tell you what we're about to do. So this we built when we moved to this house about 2 years ago. I call it a jungle bed. I don't think it's, we used to have, I think, some fake vines hanging up here, so it looked kind of interesting. But she wanted something that was elevated, so she could use her bedroom. She's had the desk under there, and multiple configurations as any teenage girl would. She's now a freshman in college, but she's 16. She'll be home this summer, and this will be her bedroom. But I built this for her, really out of 2x6s. And I'll talk about the bookshelf stairs in a second. So just 2x6 frame is all I built this with, and then this cable, these cables here, this 1/4 inch cable. So we just bought this, and it's got a plastic coating over the steel cable that we bought at Lowe's. So we went to Lowe's. So we can see some eyelets there. So the eyelets on both sides. So the eyelets were also, like I said, everything was bought from Lowe's. These long lag eyelets were also bought at Lowe's. The eyelets, I made sure they are solidly in a rafter. And then, that one over there and the one for the ladder, I'll talk about it in a rafter. So all we did was just ran it down. Clear, you could see the two cable ties here. So these cable ties, nice and tight, holding this on as this piece is centered and going through this 2x6. And then this is just an extra piece here that we ran across to this side. Really the same thing, same way, same hook. And then we ran this rope because she wanted this rope. And this is where she had the vines, the fake vines kind of running. It was kind of cool. This looks interesting. We haven't done anything for the lights, but to get this rope, I made this cleat here. So just pretty simple. This is just a 1x, just a finished trim piece. And then just cut a couple pieces to kind of make it like a cleat that runs across. So very, very simple. And then we initially had this rope ladder that we bought off of Amazon. It's a cool rope ladder, but it's not very practical. It was actually kind of clunky and hard for her to, even when it was kind of mounted to the ground, your legs kind of go under. You just can't climb it very well. So it's not quite, maybe if it was out and this was some different type of setup, it would work, but it just doesn't. So to remedy that, I bought some 2x10s and I made this step bookshelf. So this step bookshelf is pretty awesome. She uses this to get on her bed now, and also, as you can see, it's a bookshelf and made out of 2x10s. You can have that solid run down there, no problem. Takes all the weight of her and everything else. So it's real sturdy. I just used 3-inch screws and cut those pieces. So I do have a tape measure here, and there. So from outside edge to outside edge, it's 12 inches. So, so there are 12 inches there, and then each step, again, 12. So I just went off a foot. So each step is 12 inches, and then from here to here is 12 inches. So you're going to be at about 10.5. So 10.5 from what's that? The riser. So the riser's about 10.5, and you got 12 inches of run. So pretty simple. Really easy. This last step is a little bit bigger, not a big deal. I just made it so it had enough height there. This is really comfortable for her, and it really even gives her a good, that's not bad for her to get up there and finally finish climbing up there. And I didn't finish this last, I didn't put shelves in the last piece there. Could have put shelves in there. Would have been quite easy, I think, but I didn't, just because. And I also put a couple screws in here so that this last step gives the bed a little stability. It doesn't need it. The way it's locked in here, it it's pretty solid. She can move around on there. I could get up there. Any 250-pound dude could probably get up there, even more. It takes a lot of weight, but I did add a few things. I'll show you the bottom first. So, and how I mounted it to the wall. Initially, the 2x6s themselves were bracketed. These 2x6s were bracketed to the wall with just these standard L galvanized brackets. This one probably should be cut down because it's sticking up above. But then down here I just used 2x2s, and I ran the 2x2s. I probably should measure. So these 2x2s are it's like 16 inches on center. So 16 inches on center, 1, 2, 3, 4 2x2s, and then I just screwed basically a cleat to the each end so it would hold the. So I got some MDF and I got some plywood. This was just leftover sheeting that I had, so I wouldn't worry. So I just used what I had. If you had some larger pieces in the next project here, I've got 2x4s and not these, but it'll be fine. And then the 2x2 back there is screwed in solidly to the wall. So screwed in solidly to the wall. Each, you can see these 2 screws each. Those are screwed into the studs. And then to make sure that this 2x6 is screwed into that, because there's not another 2x6 against the wall. I didn't use basically a ledger board. I just used the brackets and then used this piece. And I put 3 screws each. 4 screws into the. I did pre-drill those into that 2x2, so that 2x2 does adds extra strength to the 2x6 frame. But this is a full-size bed. She wanted a full size, so I made her a full size. And you could measure this to anything you want. If you want a twin, it could be a twin. Actually, give you more room. But yeah, really simple. I did add this, just some screws holding on this this 1x. This is so she can keep her devices and a drink, sippy cup, not sippy cup, but a sports cup bottle up here. This gives her a little ledge to store stuff. So basically a shelf. That's it. It's pretty simple. This one didn't take very long to make. Clearly it's just wood right now. It's not painted, but we could paint it. We haven't yet, so it just kind of stayed this way. But what I'm going to do next is, she kind of wants her bed a little lower. This is fine. She doesn't want this taken down. She potentially could use it again, but she just wants to crawl in bed, not have to climb up there. The cats may join her a little easier if she's lower. So basically, I'm going to recreate this frame, but it's going to be here. So from this step over to the width of the bed and then out. So it's going to be perpendicular to this bed, to the upper bunk, and then it's basically going to be a lower bunk, and it's going to come out here. I'm going to build, basically the bottom step is going to extend or be just slightly different so that I can fasten the part of the bed to the step, and then it'll be fastened to the wall and actually going to cantilever out quite a bit. So it'll have a nice little cantilever, and it'll look really cool. But and then I've just got a solid piece of plywood to throw down on the bottom. So I'm going to get some measurements, because I don't remember what these measurements are, and then measure some of this here, and I'm going to go out in the garage and show you how I make this. It's going to be really simple, so it should be pretty quick. Then we're going to install it, and we'll see what it looks like, and maybe at some point we'll put some LED lights underneath it that change color or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. My son's bed, we built a floating kind of cantilever bed, not attached to the wall in any way, but underneath and around we put some LED lights, so it's really cool feature. Kids like that. So yeah, that's the bed. That's our jungle bed, free hanging jungle bed. It's cool. We really like it. This has been a really interesting bed to make, and it's really good for space inside of the room. So yeah, let me get to making this other one, and then we'll get in here and we'll be done with this project for today. All right, so the plan is pretty simple. I'm just going to make a big rectangle. The outside of the bed frame, including the lumber here, was 78 inches, and then 54.5. So minus 3 inches for the lumber, and we're at 51.5 and 78. So I'm just going to make, so I've got to cut two pieces to 78 inches, and then the two ends to 51.5. One end's going to be a 2x6, one end's going to be a 2x4. So the one to mount to the wall is going to be a 2x4. I don't think it matters very much. It's just kind of a ledger. So that's going to be 51.5. And then I've got some additional pieces, some additional 2x4s that I'm going to lay flat, and those are going to be, cross braces for this half-inch piece of plywood here. So it's going to be half-inch plywood on the bottom, and then again, just 78, and then a bunch of pieces at 51.5. Don't mind this. This is where the step comes across that the piece. But yeah, I'll lay all this lumber out real quick. I'll mark it, and then we'll start cutting. So as I mark, I don't know how well you can see it, but I like to make sure I mark just past the line, and then I put an X knowing that I want to get rid of that line. If you mark right on the 78, then you want to leave, right on your measurement, then you want to leave, half of your line. If you mark on the inside, then you need to leave your whole line. If you mark on the outside, you need to cut the line. Not going to matter so much on this bed, because it's not a accurate, or it's not a super precise thing we're making here. But on other more precise work you're doing, you definitely want to make sure that you are aware of which side of the line, or if you need to completely remove the line. So I've put an X here, and this knows I need to completely remove the line. So sometimes I make like a little, greater than, I guess, greater than sign to know that stop at the line. So here I'm putting an X, and the X is touching the line, so I know the line needs to go. That's it. It's all put together. Side note, I've had this 18 volt Porter cable actually for a long time. Go figure, all four of my batteries were dead when I tried to use that. So I got about 3 screws out of it. But this little 12 volt Hyper Tough from Walmart, this cheap, it's like 40 bucks or 50 bucks. I still have two full bars. I put another battery on the charger. This was already being used too, so I've used it some, so this battery was already used, not fully charged, and it, as you saw, it crushed this thing. So I'll take a quick walk around, show you what I used for hardware. These 8 by 3 inch, so just a bunch of 3-inch screws, basically just, so here where it's a 2 by 2 because I didn't have enough 2 by 4s. It'll be fine for that plywood. I just use 1 screw, but then 2 screws, down at the end 2 screws, and then 2 screws over here. So, and just like that all the way around, and then kind of a little cleat that I put inside of here. I didn't have another 2x2, so I just used a full 2x4 down there. Again, it'll be fine. It's just kind of to rest the edges of the plywood on. I just used 3 screws going along. So this will be more than enough to hold this bed up. What I didn't show was making that. I almost forgot. After I cut everything else, I had to go and measure. That's the 12 by. It's like 13, actually 14, 15. It's like 16 or 17. So it's weird. So it was 12 inches tall by however much length I had left. So I had one board with one board that I was able to cut 2 12s out of, and then whatever that was left, and I cut the last one, which was not enough to cut 2 pieces out. So yeah, just scrap wood. I made that last little thing there. That's it. This is the frame. It's pretty simple. I'm going to take it upstairs. I will go grab my big level, or at least one of the levels if I've got one in here. I'll make sure it's level on the wall. We're going to find the studs. I think this end is going to be the end against the wall, so this will be our ledger. It doesn't matter that it's a 2x4, not a 2x6. It's, like I said, this is a bed. It's going to be close to the ground. It's plenty strong for what we needed to do. I'll find some studs, put a bunch of screws in along the top, probably two screws per stud I can find, so it's probably going to have 3 anchor points, which is going to be great. And then down at the end, it'll be this last board. This will be under here, and then the other one that's already existing will be under there. And then I'll put a couple screws through that, and it'll hold it up really nicely. So yeah, let me. What I'm not going to show is just cutting this down. I'll just get my tables or my circular saw out and cut this down to this size. So I'll do that, carry this upstairs, get it put in place, and then get it nice and level and set up. And then I'll show you that as well when we get to that. We got it in here, and we're going to. That's the extra step I made. It is going to go there, but for now I'm going to use it to rest it on. Because obviously that's going to be the height, so rest it on that step, I guess I'll call it, and then but first we're going to go ahead and find the stud. She's mounted to the wall. Now I'll put a couple screws in here. I'll turn that, put some screws in there, and then we'll be ready to put the board in and the mattress. There it is. Lifted the corner. We didn't quite make the bed. Again, she doesn't have a lot of her linens are at school, but we didn't get a second mattress because it's not going to be extra people sleeping here. For now, if there is, we can get another mattress. The cheap roll-up Amazon ones are more than enough for some of our kids, but this one's pretty good. So, you did lose the bottom step here, but I think you can use the bed to get up to the top of this one. And then, it's kind of floating there. So that's kind of nice. So you can have plenty of storage. You can sit. You're not going to hit your feet. She might have to rearrange some of this stuff, but we'll let her do that when she gets home. But, yeah, it's pretty cool now with 2 beds. So one simple project. There's a lot of stuff you could do with this. You could put those little like nets. They look like mosquito nets, but they're like a princess. I don't know what the heck they are, but you can probably hang one up and it could spread out and have it over your bed. Sure, you can do lights up there, all kinds of stuff. There are a lot of options. If we want to paint it, we could paint it. The wood looks cool. We could take it back outside and take the torch to it and burn it all and make it look cool. There's all kinds of stuff we can do to it. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you like this project, and if this one maybe gives you some ideas. And like I said, if you're thinking about this is simply a 2x6 here, and I drilled a long hole through it and put this threaded eyelet, and it's holding up just fine. So it's close to the edge. It's only a 2x6 with a hole drilled in the middle. It's doing well. So yeah, I would say that this is a cool option if you need room and you want to make it. Just know that the ladder, and I think we saw some online things when I was making it, and they showed the ladder, but that ladder's a pain in the butt to climb. The rungs hurt your feet, so it's just not a super good option for this indoor type of use on something that you're not going to be wearing shoes on, you're going to sleep on. So if you're making some kind of jungle thing, jungle gym, sure, that ladder's probably just fine, but not for this. So, but it's still there because it looks cool. So yeah, thanks a lot. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.